welcome to the Purple Inspiration Podcast. This is a space, as you know, for extraordinary women leaders who rise above the noise. Today, my guest is a powerhouse woman in dynamo, Faith Alpher. You are in for a treat. Just a little background on Faith. She is a powerhouse of inspiration, a dynamic speaker, poet, author, seasoned comedian, and charismatic radio personality who lights up stages, classrooms, and airways all over the country. She is a popular Bay Area radio personality on 1017 KKIQ, who I listen to, and I really appreciate what the work she does there. I got to see Faith firsthand when she gave the keynote speech at the Martin Luther King Fellowship Breakfast in January, which is sponsored by Three Valleys Community Foundation, where I'm on the board of directors. And I got to tell you, immediately I was like lightning bolt over to meet her afterwards. I was completely drawn to Faith. She gave us that wow we all needed and a wonderful reflection of Dr. King's legacy. And just recently, she was sworn in as the first woman of color to be Livermore's Poet Laureate. Welcome, Faith. I'm so excited to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. My goodness. Woo!
It's going to be fun. Let's have some fun. So, I started to check out your Instagram feed and all your socials, really, because I thought you had so much energy. And you wrote once, "I can now see me like a wildflower with power, picking up the mantle from my ancestors who insist on me shining." I couldn't relate to that more as someone that's of Italian and Sicilian descent, and knowing what my ancestors went through to get here. So tell us about that. What's your recipe for success?
Yeah, my recipe for success is many things. One, it's failing and then succeeding. So many times I was so adamant on what success looks like.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, even for me, like how I come across, but the more I started doing self-discovery, doing the work, I mean, I've been doing the work forever and a day. It's like, okay, wait a minute. My ancestors really worked hard so I could be not necessarily where I am, but I have to share my true self. Like, what is your true self? It's not following what everybody else does. It's you being you. Let me give you a really small example. This is small example, very tiny. And again, this is just for me. For years and years and years and years and years, I had a standard nail appointment because my nails were long and luxurious and I would talk and blah blah blah. And then truthfully, several years ago, I was like, you know what? It's never comfortable. It's never relaxing when I get my mani-pedi. Yes, I get a pedi, but always to have my nails over. I never get relaxed. We used to always say, get a mani-pedi, relax. Well, I don't like getting my nails done. And I had to really think about that. Again, it's a small thing. I had to think about that. All of the people that have spoken life over me and into me, and those people that gave me a chance, I don't remember what their nails look like. I would know what their heart looked like. So that's part of my wildflower. My kids, they laugh. They're like, Mom, you have like little kid hands. I'm like, I don't care. I'm comfortable. I'm free. I use my hands. And once I said, okay, I'm not getting them done anymore, it was just a small bit of freedom. So that is what I mean by success. Does success mean I have to present myself a certain way when I speak? No, I just have to be me. And that is my gift or my thoughts when it comes to what success looks like. It's just like being your true self, messy.
Exactly. I have found some of my friends, and some of them are, one of them's a voice actress. When they're their authentic self, it shows, and you can tell a fake a mile away. In my mind, when you're a woman, you have to be authentic. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit. You're a member of the Screen Actors Guild after union. Your members entertain people all over the world, and you have personally helped businesses and organizations with how they communicate, connect, and find their voice, especially through the spoken word. And sometimes you use comedy as a tool. You just did that with me just now with your nails, and I totally appreciate that. So tell us, how did you use your talents, or how have you used your talents and training as a comedian to get the to the level that you are at now? Because you're such a sought after speaker.
Oh, thank you. Again, it's just being myself. I went to, I won't say what company, but I went to a company in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, wherever. Um, and I remember I was just about to speak, and people are friendly. I can read a room. Like, I've been doing comedy for 20 years, right? I did comedy for 20 years. I'm really good on reading a room. So I remember just about to speak, and some of them were a little bit uptight. I'm like, okay, we're here to have a great time. And everyone's like sitting like this. I'm like, okay, we're here to have a great time. Okay, who's the biggest racist in the room? Put your hand in the air. Come on. Who's the biggest? And they were like, "Wait, what?" So everyone is laughing. I'm like, see, all right, now we're all gonna pay attention. So it was one of those things that for me, I open my mouth and we run with it. I have everything written down. I always plan, and I am very impromptu. So I enjoy improv like crazy. And sometimes when you have a room of 400 or 500 people that are professionals, whether you're doing something like that, you having music. I was in Denver and 550 people. How do you have an icebreaker with 550 people? They were celebrating 30 years of their company. And I thought, okay, it's my beautiful superpower of having ADHD. I worked it out with the AV person, and I said, "Do me a favor, have this song in," because this song was the number one song 30 years ago. So I went through, what were gas prices? What were you go through through the whole thing, and people are laughing. And I said, "Okay, I need you to stand for this last one, if it's okay with you. If I need you to stand, what was the number one song 30 years ago? Mr. DJ hit it." And then you heard, "This is how we do it." Everyone was dancing. So it's usually something that brings people together, something fun. It can be something a little like maybe challenging you, like that sort of thing. But I believe comedy, I love using comedy because it's disarming. And Judy, I have sat in many of workshops and presentations, and the content was good, a lot of them, but there was like no joy. It's
Mm.
like we can be funny and we can just be ourselves. It doesn't have to be so static. Like, just whatever yourself is. So I always say, I'm not your normal speaker. I say, I will probably be the most real and the most raw and the most authentic speaker that you will have. So I always love, bringing improv wherever I go.
Well, I think that's awesome, and I'll tell you, my worst speeches are the ones where I sat with the notebook and read the statistics. My best speeches were the ones where I just talked from here and
Mm,
told it like it was. So I truly appreciate that. And we talk about authenticity, authentic connection. That's actually one of the reasons we started this, was to actually showcase women like yourself who are authentic. And I got to tell you, I found that from you when I invited you on the show, and you picked up the phone and said, "I see you, I hear you." And I got to say, in this world where people talk over each other constantly rather than listening, it's kind of just become one of those things that's been a real problem for me, is watching people not respect one another. And you showed tremendous respect, which I really appreciated. So, tell me, let's sort of go to your most recent accomplishment, which is you are the city of Livermore's first woman of color to be named the Poet Laureate. And interestingly, I was just in Livermore yesterday picking up some wine for Tri Valley Reach for our big event that we're doing in September, and met some of the women vintners, and that was awesome. And what I found is that very thing, that they are very authentic, they're very true to who they are. Um, Tell me about what that meant to you to be named the first woman of color as Poet Laureate.
thank you. Oh, thanks. Well, It means a lot, and small correction, the first person of color. So
All right.
I said to the mayor, I'm like, would that be the first woman, the first? And he stopped at me and went, the first person.
Uh,
First he answered, he was like, I'm sure. Then he was like, no, you be the first person. To me, it means I might be the first, but I won't be the last. It
100%.
It means that in my community, let's begin to open the doors and see people and make sure you're giving people a chance, giving people an opportunity, especially not just because of the color of their skin, but what did Dr. MLK said, by the content of their character. I've been in this community almost my whole life, right? 30 years. Yes, I'm a Jersey girl a lot. I talk to anybody and they always know, Bergen County, New Jersey, that's where I was born and raised. And I know that's where I got my grit and my humor and my determination. However, I want to be able to show people in Livermore that leadership comes in many different colors and sizes and ages, right? Like we're all trying to build up. We just celebrated in Livermore 150 years,
hmm
right? The 150th year. I did a spoken word. I didn't know, and everyone else found out the town that we're named after was highly regarded by Mexicans and Anglo. I mean, they called Anglo people. They have it in the history books, but big time. That's why he was deemed Don Roberto Livermore. I wish I could roll my R's, but his name was Don Roberto because of what he did. He married Josefina. He married a beautiful Mexican woman. He came from England. So that should show you right there. He was known for being generous, especially towards the Mexican people, especially him and his friend John Gilroy. I mean, just the history is fascinating. And when people try to throw shade or try to slander or dehumanize people, all I'll say is be careful because we live in a town that gave back generosity and generously loved people, all people. That's why Don Roberto was like the ultimate respect of what Mexican people gave the name of Don, Don Roberto. So, yeah, I was like, okay, live from. I didn't know that history, but it was cool.
Well, the wineries, the lab, the invention of Livermorium, there's just so much to be really, really proud of in Livermore. So I'm really applaud the council and especially Mira Mashard for having the great sense to name you to that role. I think you're just going to be a fabulous addition to the town in this role.
Thank
So
you.
let's talk a little bit about your influences. We've talked about MLK, who I find to be one of the most influential people in the world ever. I wish I could have met him. I wish I could have known him. What impact, though, someone very close to you, what impact has your mother had in
Mm.
influencing your career choices in you along the way?
Everything. My book that's coming out next month. Not too sure when this will be shown, but my book's coming out September 1st. And she would always plant seeds of, what the mind can conceive, the hand can conceive. Like she would constantly say things like that. I don't even know if she knew she was doing affirmations in the 70s and 80s, right? This psychiatric nurse, right? My mom works for New York State and Columbia, New York Pres, right? And she worked for those places for 33 years. And she would constantly plant seeds. You can do it. You can do it. I was horrible in school. You can do it. You can do it. I was kicked out of college twice. You can do it. You can do it. My mother played a big role because I would say things to her like, hey, mom, I think I'm going to be, I think my name might be pretty well known. I think I'm going to be like traveling the world and kind of doing a lot of big things similar to oh my gosh, the guy that does a whole lot of speaking, Tony
Tony
something.
Robbins.
I said, I'm going to be like a Tony Robbins and a Whoopi Goldberg sprinkled with Lucille Ball. I know me. And I said, I think it might be like something, a little Oprah, like, me and Oprah are going to talk. And I said, what do you think? Do you think it will happen? She said, it already has happened. Like she could see it. So she manifested greatness over me and into me. My mom was everything. This is hers. I She's no longer with us, but I always feel like when I do things like this, if you see me wearing this or something else, this I usually my mom and my sister, but mom just wanted to hang out today.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
words of affirmation, like who knew? Who knew?
Oh, yeah, that I love that. My mom also had a huge impact on me, and I totally appreciate that for you. So let's talk about the release of your new book, The Voice You Forgot You Had 25 Spoken Words from a Woman Who Found Hers. And boy, have you found your voice. How did you do that? What obstacles did you have to overcome? Tell us about that, and tell us about your book
Yeah, thank
launch.
you. I think the obstacles I had to overcome, like I said in the very beginning, not being afraid to fail. Um, that's not true. I was afraid to fail, but I just put myself out there. Anyway, people say, "Don't be afraid to fail. It's okay." And you're like, look, when you feel like you failed at whatever you're trying, you feel like a failure, but you're not a failure. What you didn't work. You should do something else. So I think my heart in, we talked about the Screen Actors Guild, right? My mom always said, pay your dues, pay your dues. Even though I haven't been actively on film and television, I know that where I'm going to need that card. So I wanted to perform, right? I wanted to act, be an actress. However, I wanted to give back and speak and share. So you combine them both and you get spoken word. So I found my voice by doing the work and therapy, failing again, and you just kind of keep going in this circle. And then finally, honestly, Judy, I feel like let go. So many times we're trying to hold on to stuff, and we just have to just let it go. We're trying to hold on to a job, that you're way more qualified to. Got to let it go. I'm afraid I don't want to let it go. It makes great money. Okay, it makes great money, but how is your heart? Like, real talk, when I let go, the moment I said, I got to trust and there's something bigger happening. Let me start writing. One thing led to another. I found an awesome writing group. I was writing not one book, but I wrote 2 books. I didn't realize I was writing 2 books at the same time. And then all of a sudden, someone said, "Hey, why don't you do a spoken word book? You can publish it." And I thought about doing publishing myself, and I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen. Well, never can. I respect sub publishers, a lot of respect. I knew me. It ain't going to happen. So I said, I got to have a literary agent and a publisher. Well, Abundance Publishing, they came along and it's just everything started falling into place, letting go, letting go. Then I said, wow, I want more opportunities to speak. So you got to put yourself out there. You can't be annoying to people, but you put yourself out there. And when Kelly called me at the airport right before
She
the
told me.
snowstorm, January 24th, before the snowstorm, because my son got on the last plane, he was doing an off Broadway show. He got on the last plane, and Newark Airport closed down for like several days because of that horrible snowstorm, January in 2026. And then Kelly said, "Hey," when she asked me, and then I said, of course, sure. Kelly and I go way back, right? And then she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Well, I'm getting on an airplane." She was like, "What?" I'm like, so the book is just about reclaiming your voice. It's really a love letter. I mean, it sounds so cheesy, and I just finished it, a bit ago, but it sounds cheesy because it's a love letter to everybody. A lot of people say, "Oh, my book is my baby," and my book ain't my baby. The baby means you can only hold on to it yourself, right? No, for me, it's a love letter. When you write a letter to someone, you're just giving yourself to that person. You're releasing it, and that's what I feel like. I look back at some of these pieces, and at the end, if you want to hear one, I would be more than happy to share. But I'm like, wow, I wrote that, and I just was in a place and space, and I'm excited. And again, from the person that was told I shouldn't write, you can't write, and it's okay, you can't write, and just did horrible. But I got it together, got my master's degree, and just said, gosh, I want to perform and I want to write and I want to give back and I want to do this and I want to do that. So I just said, why not? And that was a lot. I'll stop talking.
All right, I think that's amazing what you have done so far, and I just can't wait to see what you will continue to accomplish. Give us a little tidbit from the book. You open the door, I'm going to walk right through it.
Thank you. Okay, I will definitely give you just a tidbit from the book. Well, you talked about you talked about like a wild flower. Um, anyway, you quoted that, and that's from a piece, and it's very short. It's called um, "Wild and Free." And I wrote that because I was like, gosh, everyone's always trying to muscle me or to be quiet. And certain people and yeah, I'm wild, I'm free, but like it's me. Yes, I can be a professional and smart. You can do all the things and still you can be wild and free. So this is called Wild and Free. Wild and free. Yes, that's me. The looseness of joy, the delight in the dance, the glow of my body who wants another chance. It's best to speak and not hold back. I'm no longer scared. No more of this lack. The pause for the cause will have to wait for today. I am dancing. Oh, I want to create. My back is cut, my hips twitch. Oh, the jokes I will tell will always leave my lips. 'Tis another day, a chance to be me, my true, awesome self. Yes, I am wild and free. There you go.
I love that too. So, Faith Alpher, you are a shining star. You are such an amazing woman, and I am so glad we had the opportunity to connect. I cannot wait for us to get together again soon, and I will be at that book launch. Remind us again, August 6th, is that correct?
Yes, August 6th, Thursday, Prodigy Fitness in Pleasanton, California, right next to the Home Depot and the In and Out. Prodigy Fitness, 6689 Owens Drive, I believe, Suite 300, 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock,
Excellent.
August 6th. Thank you so
Excellent.
much.
Well, we'll be sure at the end of this to put the flyer up that you sent me. Faith Alpher, you are amazing. I just love you. Have a great day. Thanks so much for being with us today.
I love you. Thank you so much.